of the MotoGP World Championship in front of a massive crowd here at Le Mans in France. Front row, Marquez, Dovizioso and Lorenzo. 28 laps of pure theatre about to get underway here in legendary Le Mans.
Lights out, great start from the middle of the front row by Andrea Dovizioso. He got a superb launch, as did Marc Marquez. Valentino Rossi coming around the outside from the third row. Oh, there was a bit of contact there between, was it Dovizioso or Iannone and Marc Marquez, but it's Lorenzo now who's going to sweep up at the Dunlop chicane. Marquez comes all the way through from fourth. He runs off the track almost. Lorenzo leads, Dovizioso second, Iannone up to third, and Marquez fourth, Rossi fifth. Drama on the early stages.
Wow, more like a Moto3 race as they plunge down towards La Chapelle. It's Jorge Lorenzo that leads the way, just where he wanted to be after that amazing race victory 14 days ago in Jerez. Dovizioso is right there. Marquez had to really fight hard. He did get a wallop, I think, going into turn 2, didn't he?
Yeah, Marquez as well. Then he tried to lunge up the inside of Lorenzo and Dovizioso at the Dunlop chicane. Ran wide, did really well actually to keep himself on the track. He's in fourth place. Dani Pedrosa makes a move up the inside of Cal Crutchlow. Pedrosa up into seventh. Lorenzo leads Dovizioso from his teammate. Marc Marquez still in fourth with Valentino Rossi in fifth. Bradley Smith stays in sixth place.
Great start by Andrea Iannone. May have had damaged shoulder. That was the start of the race so far. We ride with Lorenzo. There is Dovizioso. Iannone right all over him as they tip it down through the left and right. The blue chicane coming up to record them on for the very first time into the start and finish between these towering grandstands at Le Mans.
Marquez there almost running into the back of Andrea Iannone through turn 14. Cal Crutchlow, a big loser on the opening lap. He started fourth and dropped back to 8th place. It's Lorenzo that leads the way from the two Ducati GP15s. Dovizioso from Iannone. Marquez there in fourth. This is where he almost ran off on the first lap as he tried to take the lead. Rossi fifth. Russell from Smith. Dani Pedrosa had a really good start. He's flying in 7th place. It's Crutchlow, Palesquano, Johnny Hernandez in the top 10.
Well, I think for the field, apart from Yamaha, this is the result they did not want. Lorenzo getting away. It's Dani Pedrosa that has gone down on his return. Oh, what a return for Dani Pedrosa. 1 and a bit laps into the race. He is okay, but Dani Pedrosa is out of the race. Back to the front. We know what Lorenzo is going to try and do now, don't we?
Dani Pedrosa trying to get that Repsol Honda going again. As he got to his feet, the first thing you saw him do was look at that right arm. This is on board with Pedrosa. That was going through turn 4. He had Bradley Smith ahead of him. It looked like he might have just took the front as he came through that corner. Cal Crutchlow was behind him. There you go. Look, straight away has a look at his right arm. That's been causing him all those problems. That's the reason why we haven't seen him since the opening round in Qatar. But it's been a positive return up until this point. Disaster for Pedrosa. He is back on track, back at the front. Jorge Lorenzo, as we've lost Stefan Bradl as well. So Pedrosa and Bradl have crashed out on lap 2 here in Le Mans.
Yeah, both of them are okay. That's what is important. Turn 6 for Stefan Bradl going down at the Musim corner. 2 laps in, Lorenzo is opening up the gap at the front. 7/10 of a second advantage over Dovizioso. Iannone, Marquez, Rossi, Smith, Crutchlow, Paulus, Marco Hernandez, Dani Pedrosa, Nicky Hayden, Jack Miller, Maverick Vinales, Lawrence Paz, and Scott Redding at the moment in 15th place. This is where Lorenzo wanted to be, but that made sense, and Lorenzo is flying. Spargo, that is a late, I think, Dylan, in pit lane.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's just coming back into the pits. I'm going to run up, see what's happened.
Looks like the pain probably is just too much for a late Spargo.
Lorenzo leading the way here is Aleix Spargo. They're looking at the clutch lever on that Suzuki GSX RR. I'd be surprised if he withdrew. Mike Demeglio, another early faller, one of the French riders in this field, number 63, Demeglio. That looks like that's coming out of turn 4 where Dani Pedrosa went, and it is indeed, because this is Demeglio now coming down La Chapelle. At the front of the field is a Jorge Lorenzo, 7/10 of a second clear of number 4 in second place. Andrea Dovizioso, Rossi up the inside of Marc Marquez, aggressive but fair by Rossi, and now Rossi Marquez tried to fight back by running on the curb. Rossi stood firm. Rossi up to 4th.
Valentino Rossi bares his teeth for the first time into the Shimano Puch S's and gets past Marquez. We ride with Marquez. What can he do about it? He's looked not a little bit out of sorts this weekend. They've had a few technical problems. They've Lorenzo leads the way out. He's going to be comfortable as we stand at the moment. Rossi put away from Marquez. The gap at the front, 7/10 of a second. Rossi, Marquez, Bradley Smith, Crutchlow, Paul Espargaro, Johnny Hernandez, and Danilo Petrucci. Crashes 4. Danny Pedrosa and Stefan Bravo, both okay.
To the pits that had some problems with the clutch on that factory Suzuki. There is Valentino Rossi. He's just taken 4th place from Marc Marquez. Here's a replay of it now, down into turn 9. Rossi there, right with Marquez. Look, Marquez running there on the inside. He was off inside the curb. That was Marc Marquez. He knew he couldn't overtake Rossi there. Normally in this kind of situation, we see Marquez have a bit of a dodgy first couple of laps. He starts quickly carving his way through the field. We've seen the opposite. He's going even further backwards with Rossi on the offensive as he tries to hunt down Jorge Lorenzo, who still leads the way.
Yeah, but the Dovizioso has pulled back a couple of tenths of a second. I don't know if he's made a mistake. The Dovizioso was dropping the pace. Scott Redding crashed out. Ryder okay. Dylan.
Yeah, look, guys, just to quickly say, so it certainly wasn't anything to do with the race physical condition. It's definitely a technical problem. They can't confirm it if it is the clutch because they're still investigating.
This is a replay of the race start. Well, watch out for Marc Marquez and Andrea Iannone. Well, actually, it was Lorenzo that moved across and Andrea Iannone, and that forced Iannone to pick up a little bit, and it looked like he might have just given a quick nudge to Marquez. Here we go. Lorenzo now moves across. Iannone, that was really close. I mean, they're accelerating all the way up there through up to 4th, 5th gear off the start line. We're going to get a great look at this on board with Jorge Lorenzo. There's Iannone on the right-hand side of your screen now, and Iannone, well, they definitely touched, and just on the outside there, clearly disrupted Marc Marquez. And here's Marquez going into the Dunlop chicane, up the inside of Lorenzo and Dovizioso, but he runs it wide and comes back on in 5th place.
Well, you do wonder whether that unsettled your brakes ever so slightly, because we even saw that before. Once you get a bit of movement on the front, you might have to pump the brakes ever so slightly to get the pads back in. That also might be why he ran a little bit wide into turn 3.
Well, fastest lap has come from Valentino Rossi. The gap at the front is close to around 7/10 of a second. Dovizioso putting the pressure on Lorenzo. And here is poor old Scott Redding. It's poor old Scott Redding's Mark VDS bike. I'm sorry, but they did say Ryder was okay. We're going to see it. He's okay, but it looks like a fair bit of damage to the bike for Scott Redding down at the La Chapelle corner. Another big disappointment for the British rider. Okay, Rossi now hunting down Andrea Iannone in 3rd place.
Marc Marquez, something's happened to Marc Marquez because he's not behind Valentino Rossi. Bradley Smith is behind Valentino Rossi. Whether Marc Marquez has made a mistake, someone cut in there, Marc Marquez, let's have a quick look. There's Bradley Smith, there's Marquez, he's dropped even further back. Marquez in the last lap did a 1:34.05, that was 1.2 seconds behind Rossi. So are there issues for Marc Marquez? Was he made another mistake? Well, here we go, he's made a mistake. This is a garage fair. This is what he did on the very first lap of the race last year. Dropped him back to 10. Actually, the pass is low by Cal Crutchlow. So as we said, Nick, problems again in the race for Marc Marquez.
Dylan, sorry, yeah, we're getting excited about Marc Marquez up here.
Well, no, I do wonder whether that's any kind of braking issue, because we're just seeing him run that little bit wider. But my comment was going to be, it's worth pointing out that Danny Pedrosa is remounted. He's still lapping, and there's a very good reason for that. Not just, obviously not just for the fans, but they need to know how his arm is working over race distance, and the only way he's going to do that is essentially competing in this race, even if he's not maybe going to get any points.
What is happening at the front lap? This is far from over, isn't it?
Dovizioso slowly catching Jorge Lorenzo. This is a great battle for the lead. There is Marc Marquez just coming through the top of your screen. He's repassed Cal Crutchlow after that mistake at Garage Fair. Next to his sights is Bradley Smith. This is the battle for the lead. Leads the way from number 4, Andrea Dovizioso. What a ride so far by Andrea Iannone. He's doing that purely on adrenaline with that dislocated left shoulder. Sweep through turn 10 now. Rossi looking particularly menacing in 4th place. Valentino Rossi now 2.6 seconds clear of Bradley Smith in 5th.
Jorge Lorenzo coming under pressure. He's not going to be able to get away there like he did in Jerez, and Rossi's coming along for the ride as well. What about Iannone's shoulder? This is going to be one hell of a battle. There's still 22 and a half laps to go. Lorenzo still leads the way. This is going to be tight. What is the gap going to be? Let's keep a real close eye on that gap between Lorenzo and Dovizioso. It's around half a second each time, isn't it?
There's Marc Marquez. This is through the first corner, then the second corner. Still unable to make a move on Bradley Smith. 22 laps to go. Marquez in a British sandwich. Bradley Smith in 5th. And it is the world champion, Crutchlow in 7th place. Back at the front with Jorge Lorenzo. The gap down between him and Andrea Dovizioso, half a second. Andrea Reid only actually on the last lap, the best lap of the race from him. A 1:33.035. Almost half a second quicker than his teammate Andrea Dovizioso. This is a real heroic performance from the number 29. There he is, 3rd in this lead group of 4.
Down at Garage Vert corner, long way to go, 21.5 laps. How will you notice a shoulder stand at the pace after that horrendous accident in Mugello? 5 days ago now, as they go into the Shimano Buff Essex. Lorenzo still leads the way. Dovizioso has got him firmly in his sights, chasing that first win for Ducati. For Dovizioso, only his 2nd ever MotoGP win. Lorenzo, of course, a great deal of success at this circuit, and Rossi certainly is not out of this one either.
Lorenzo down into turn 13. There is Andrea Dovizioso. Iannone edging ever closer, inching closer to the rear wheel of his teammates. GP15 Desmo Sedici. Lorenzo over the line to complete lap number 7. Half a second, the gap to Dovizioso. Iannone a further half a second back. Rossi, the gap to Lorenzo now 1.6 seconds. And Marc Marquez making very little impression on Bradley Smith in 5th place.
No, I think everything is quite right with Marc Marquez. After saying that, I think Bradley Smith's doing a great form, isn't he, this weekend? But yeah, good battle. There is Marquez. There is Bradley Smith in front of him. And Cal Crutchlow. Crutchlow's gone. La Chapelle. Cal Crutchlow out of the race.
Well, you just saw the front end wash away from Crutchlow as he plunged down that long downhill sweeping right-hander. Crutchlow runs to try and pick up that CWM LCR Honda. Crutchlow was in 7th behind Marquez and Smith, but Cal Crutchlow looks like he's out of this race. Here we go. Yeah, he just washes the front out as he's going down into that turn number 6. So we've already lost Scott Redding, Cal Crutchlow. Stefan Bradl crashed. Danny Pedrosa did crash and remount. Back at the front with Lorenzo. It's as you were in the top 4. Lorenzo, Dovizioso, Iannone and Rossi.
Dovizioso has looked very good all weekend. He said actually one of his worst laps came in qualifying. He didn't quite get it right in qualifying, he said. He has looked impressive all weekend. Can the Ducatis challenge for a win against the Yamahas and, well, certainly against the Hondas? Well, this may be the moment it is going to happen. Lorenzo leads away over the line. The gap still just over 0.4 of a second.
Top 4 on that last lap. 1:33.3 from Lorenzo, 1:33.3 from Iannone, 1:33.3 from Rossi. The quickest of the quartet, Dovizioso, 1:33.2. They are lapping within thousands of a second of each other. That's how close it is. As Dovizioso, he looks really strong through this La Chapelle turn 6. This is where he's able to gain a few bike lengths on Jorge Lorenzo. There's Bradley Smith doing an absolutely outstanding job in 5th place. Marc Marquez just can't get close enough to that monster Yamaha Tech 3 bike to mount an attack. Smith 5th. Who would have thought after 9 laps, Marc Marquez languishing down 6th place.
At the front, Lorenzo coming under pressure all the time from the two Ducatis, who in turn know that Valentino Rossi race down towards the Shimano Buff S's. Lorenzo, Dovizioso, Iannone. Just over 20 laps remaining of this round 5 of the championship. There is Marc Marquez. Sorry, there is Danny Pedrosa. And well, he's done exactly the right thing to remount, because he's got to put some pressure on that arm to test just how it is. He went down, turn 3, turn 4, very early in the race, but he's remounted and he's going to give that arm a really good passage to 28 laps.
Lucky enough for Danny Pedrosa to get some laps on. It was not too badly damaged, so he could rejoin this 28-lap race. Pedrosa at the back of the field. It's Lorenzo, though, at the front, still keeping Andrea Dovizioso at bay. It's Yamaha, Ducati, and Yamaha fighting it out for the podium. Lorenzo as they sweep down through La Chapelle again. Dovizioso just gains a couple of bike lengths through there. That's where he is really really strong. Lorenzo out a little bit wide, comes back to clip the apex. Now can we see some Begatti horsepower close that gap? This is as close as we've seen Dovizioso now for 2 or 3 laps.
Up at the museum corner, they're now plunged downhill towards Gerhard Vert, slightly blind, double apex right. And there is the gap. He's just inching closer and closer. He'll get close. Then, can he get past boy Lorenzo? Well, he's got a long, long way to do it, and they are opening up a little bit of a gap now over Iannone and Valentino Rossi. Iannone just feeling that injured left shoulder that he dislocated at the beginning of the week in that Mugello test.
Here is Lorenzo now, coming up to the blur S is Rossi, desperately trying to find a way past Andrea Iannone. We know that Ducati's got a much more horsepower advantage over the Yamaha, so Rossi.
Also bear in mind they've got 2 litres extra fuel, so when they're on the straight they can especially use that horsepower advantage even more.
Rossi, I wonder, it's probably going to be a podium finish if he can run with Dovizioso and Lorenzo. I'm not so sure, but he'll be desperate to get past, of course, Andrea Iannone. We ride with Valentino Rossi through turn 1. What a place to watch. Ooh, and then you're on the brakes left and right through the Dunlop S's. Up over the rise, that classic shot at Le Mans, the Dunlop Bridge behind you as you plunge downhill towards La Chapelle, where we saw Cal Crutchlow crash, 4 or 5 laps ago.
Looks like Iannone really struggling through that fast changing direction from turn 5 down into turn 6. Rossi's got to make a move pretty quickly because he knows that when he's trying to get past Andrea Iannone, it's just giving a precious time for Lorenzo Dovizioso just to wear a little bit of a gap at the front. Will Rossi attack now down into Garage Bay? Doesn't look like he's going to be close enough on this lap. Iannone holding sway in 3rd place. He's doing a great job. What point of the race will fatigue kick in with that dislocated left shoulder?
Yeah, I think adrenaline can only do so much, and his pain can only do so much. He's putting, you imagine a dislocated shoulder, the sort of pressure he's putting there. Rossi is lining him up the whole time. Rossi will, well, I won't say he'll bide his moment. I think he might even have a go here at the Blue S's, and he has. And Rossi's gone through to 3rd place, and I don't think there's a lot that Andrea Iannone can do. And the crowd go absolutely crazy.
Rossi up into 3rd place. It looked like just ahead of that battle, Andrea Dovizioso might just have put a wheel in the grass as they came out of turn 10. But Rossi up into 3rd place now. He's got Andrea Iannone. The gap between Rossi and Lorenzo. Lorenzo's over the line. Rossi 1.6 seconds back, and actually Lorenzo has opened up a 1 second lead now over Andrea Dovizioso. So Lorenzo has really gained some time on that last lap from the number 4 Dovizioso.
Right, just a little bit of news on Marc Marquez. Anyone following the session so far will know that he's always been running with a special carbon cover on his brake disc to retain temperature, something the Hondas generally need to use. For this race, he is not using that cover, so one of the possibilities might be that he might not have sufficient brake temperature, and that might be holding him back ever so slightly.
Rossi up to 3rd place. Let's have a look at the manoeuvre coming into the Blue S. I think he probably ran a bit by surprise. He might have thought it would have been a Shimano Burf a little bit earlier on. Rossi cleanly and clinically through. Here is Marquez, not having the easiest of races. He's chasing all he can after a resurgent Bradley Smith. He's having a brilliant ride in 5th place. And you've got to say at the moment he is not making any impression on Bradley Smith. So Marquez, yes, running in 6th place. Bradley Smith in 5th. A little bit further down, let me run through it for you. Pol Espargaro is 7th, and Hernandez Petrucci, Nicky Hayden going well in 9th, Jack Miller going well in 11th, Vinales, Baz, Batista, Barbara and Eugene Lafferty at the moment running in 16th place. Was it a mistake by Dovizioso? Sorry, I wasn't really looking at the timing screens then, or was it Lorenzo up in the pace, or a bit of both?
Now Lorenzo definitely up the pace. He's done a minute 33.7. The gap now up to 1.2 seconds. It looks like Iannone's challenges are fading somewhat. No surprise there, given his physical condition. He's almost a second now behind this battle for 2nd. Dovizioso leads from Valentino Rossi through that change of direction in the Dunlop chicane. They'll flip it left now up to 3rd gear, 220 kilometres an hour. Dovizioso now coming under pressure from Rossi. If Rossi's going to try and put pressure on Lorenzo, he needs to get by Dovizioso fairly quickly, because Lorenzo now almost 1.3 seconds clear of the Italian duo.
Rossi's lining him up. We've seen a couple of fierce encounters between these two this season, haven't we? Rossi's ridden very, very hard hard against Dovizioso, and I get the feeling as they come down towards Garensburg, he's going to do exactly the same again. Right, they're coming onto the back straight. We ride with Valentino Rossi. He's beautifully placed to have a go at that chemin of buff S's that they're going to come up to next. But perhaps the blue S's where he actually got past Andrea Iannone. But that Ducati's just got that extra grunt as they get up towards Shimano Buff. Now, will he have a go here? This is where he took Iannone. Not here, next one now.
He's not going to be close enough to attack Dovizioso. We know how strong Andrea Dovizioso is on the brakes. This circuit all about hard braking, stop and go. It really does play into Andrea Dovizioso's strength. Rossi, he's not showing the brakes himself. And here we are, turn 13. Rossi up the inside. He makes the move. Rossi into second place. The crowd go ballistic behind us here in the commentary box. Valentino Rossi now up into second place. Start of lap 14.
Yamaha 1-2. Here comes Dovizioso. He's going to fight back, but Rossi not going to make life easy for him to get up the inside as they break now for the Dunlop S's. Classic manoeuvre by Rossi. 36 years old. The two moves on Iannone and Dovizioso. Classic. They're a move of a man 10 years younger.
Get turn 11 to get by Iannone. Turn 13, that great move to take second place by Andrea Dovizioso. There's Jorge Lorenzo, the race leader. The gap now 1.8 seconds between himself and his teammate Valentino Rossi. 15 laps to go. Has Rossi he's got enough time to claw it back, but we do know that Jorge Lorenzo is absolutely phenomenal, not only defending a lead but extending it.
Yeah, Lorenzo at his best. This is how he rode in a race. Now, what can Rossi do about it? Well, we're about to find out. I'll tell you, Marc Marquez is slipping back. Smith as well. So, this looks like an amazing day for Yamaha at the moment. But don't rule out Andrea Dovizioso completely. Classic manoeuvre. Look at this from the master, the 9 times world champion. He's up into second place here in Le Mans.
By Valentino Rossi, already edging away from Andrea Dovizioso.
Lorenzo, 1.9 seconds they tell him. Is it going to be a repeat of Perez? I reckon so.
Valentino Rossi now trying to close that gap on Jorge Lorenzo. He pulled a 10th back, as you can see on that caption there. Lorenzo last lap, 1:33.581. Rossi, 1:33.459, just 1/10 of a second, as we say. This is where Lorenzo is at his most dangerous, when he's out with a lead of a cushion of about 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds. He's so good in this kind of scenario. Valentino Rossi will have his work cut out to cut this gap. 14 laps to go. Lorenzo still leading the way. There we can see to the first 2 splits. The advantage for the Spaniard, still just over 1.7 seconds.
Well, Lorenzo's form and Perez in his form here at the moment, I tell you, it's thrown the World Championship absolutely wide open. It's because Lorenzo like this is an incredibly difficult man to beat. We've seen in the last 2 races. Hey, he hasn't won this one yet. But as you can see, he's just keeping out the gap right. And that's Jack Miller that's gone down. Jack Miller is okay. Disappointment for him. He was running in 12th place. But Miller, the Moto3 winner here last year, out of the race.
He was trying to close the gap down to Nicky Hayden in 10th place for top open class honours. Jack Miller crashed out unhurt. Of course, the winner of the Moto3 race here last year. Here's Valentino Rossi in second place through turn 12. He's coming down to turn 13 now, where he made that superb move on Andrea Dovizioso a couple of laps ago, trying desperately to claw back the deficit to Jorge Lorenzo. Both of them getting their pit boards now. Lorenzo over the line. The gap still 1.8 seconds.
Dovizioso's not giving this up, is he? He's hanging on to the coattails of Valentino Rossi. And there is still a long way to go. I had to double check then at the screen. Still 13 laps to go. Then you run out of voice. We've still got a lot to go, and this is why there is Jack Miller.
That's up at turn 4 yet again. That's where we lost Danny Pedrosa. Of course, he's there. Of course, he went down there in the Moto3 race.
We've seen him also in practice and qualifying there. Fortunate for Jack Miller. Cal Crutchlow, another faller down at La Chapelle. Good to see that both of them are okay. In fact, all the crashes we've seen in the MotoGP race so far, all of the riders are okay. These riders are okay. Lorenzo, Rossi, Dovizioso. And I've got to say, Smith now, well, it's Marc Marquez, isn't it? Is mounted no sort of challenge at all. No, he's in major problems, Marc Marquez.
Just just going to say, for the first time in this race, Bradley Smith now over 2 seconds clear of Marc Marquez, the reigning world champion, struggling off the pace, down in 6th place. Lorenzo's last lap, 1:33.609. Marquez's last lap, 1:30.3, so 0.7 of a second off Jorge Lorenzo's pace. Marquez over 11 seconds back of this battle for the lead. Jorge Lorenzo just ahead. There he is, Lorenzo pulling through turn 14. Valentino Rossi in 2nd place, edging away from Andrea Dovizioso in 3rd.
Lorenzo between those towering grandstands, 12 laps to go. That gap, 1.8 seconds to Dovizioso and Iannone. Bradley Smith has opened up an advantage of well over 2 seconds now over Marquez. Marquez in turn has got a massive distance over Paul Espargaro. Then it's Yoni Hernandez, should be Danilo Petrucci over the line, and then Nicky Hayden having the best ride of the season in 10th. Maverick Vinales, Loris Baz having a great ride in front of the home crowd, should cross the line in 12th place. He does with Hector Barber 13th, Alvaro Batista, more points for the Trinity, and Eugene Lafferty could pick up his first points of the season. At the moment he's running 15th.
Surprised to see Andrea Iannone. He's dropped well off this battle for the podium. 1 second off the pace he was on the last lap. Iannone's done a great job to stay in 4th. He's got 3.8 seconds advantage over Bradley Smith, so he should be able to comfortably hold on to 4th unless severe fatigue creeps in the last 12 laps. There is Marc Marquez, a very lonely 6th place at the moment for the double world champion. There is Bradley Smith, 2-3 seconds ahead up the road of Marc Marquez on the first day, having another fantastic ride. Mission accomplished if he stays where he is for Bradley Smith, the top non-factory rider.
Yeah, we're talking about his 3rd place in Phillip Island. We're talking about his ride in Austin. Without a doubt, this is his best ever ride in MotoGP.
I'll tell you what, Andrea Iannone, Nick, is really struggling.
Smith could catch him.
He's going to catch him. I think Andrea Iannone here, he's having major problems because Bradley Smith has come from 2-3 seconds back. He's now 1.5 seconds behind Iannone. On the last lap, Iannone did a 1:36.6. That was 2.3 seconds slower than Bradley Smith. So Iannone with that dislocated left shoulder. Well, it's been a great effort to compete in the first 17 races, first 17 laps, fighting for the podium as long as he did.
Look at that championship, if it remains the same. Lorenzo up into 2nd place, and Lorenzo then would be 15 points behind Valentino Rossi. Dovizioso would drop to 3rd place. This is another masterclass in the sunshine, different venue, same feeling.
Got a great start off the line. He was very aggressive, wasn't he, going into the first corner, elbow down through the final corner. And from Jorge Lorenzo, that great new graphic, of course. So still that 1.8 second gap between himself and Valentino Rossi. Rossi trying his best, but he just cannot break that 1.8 second barrier at the moment. We'll keep a check on Andrea Iannone and Bradley Smith as well, because we can clearly see Iannone struggling on the previous lap. Here's Lorenzo coming down to turn 13, the first of this double apex right-handers.
You need to be a very special rider to ride a race like this at the front. He's done it 2 races in a row now, isn't it? It's not easy. You're involved in a scrap, everything else goes out of the window, doesn't it? This is a very different circumstance. So yeah, 1.9 seconds now. You know he's going to cross the line now, and we have a look at Bradley Smith. He's close now.
Yeah, Smith took another half a second out of Andrea Iannone in that battle for 4th place. Marquez was a 0.6 of a second quicker actually on that last lap than Bradley Smith. So what was a fairly comfortable gap for Smith to Marc Marquez is now down to 1.7 seconds. And Marquez, he'll still have ambitions of 4th place with Iannone fading and the gap closing to Bradley Smith.
I wonder if there's some problem he's got, maybe slowly finding its way out. We wait to see.
Yoni Hernandez running in a fantastic 8th place. He's 2.5 seconds behind Paul Espargaro. His teammate Danilo Petrucci 9th. Maverick Vinales is completing the top 10. He's just taken 10th place actually from Nicky Hayden. There's that battle for 10th between Vinales and Hayden just after the back of this shot of Danilo Petrucci. Again, another excellent ride into the top 10.
Sorry guys, I've just done a round, so all the guys that crashed out are okay, and also Carol Abraham had to retire due to a technical issue. They're not sure what it is though yet.
Let's have a look. Here is a Maverick Viñales just got past Nicky Hayden. So he's up into 10th place, puts Nicky Hayden back to 11th. Viñales double winner here. Nicky Hayden, though, top open class machine in qualifying, top open class also in this particular battle. Right, Lorenzo Rossi and Dovizioso across the line. It's what's going to happen after that? Well, tell you what's happening after that. Smith is closing on Iannone, but Marquez has suddenly dropped back again.
As indeed, there's the race leader Jorge Lorenzo down through turn 6 La Chapelle, and for the first time in this race, 9 laps to go, the gap between Lorenzo and Valentino Rossi has just edged out over 2 seconds. So Lorenzo looking in complete control now of this French Grand Prix. The battle raging between Iannone, Smith and Marquez for 4th place. There's Valentino Rossi. Dovizioso now has dropped over a second back of this fellow Italian in 2nd. So Lorenzo now looking really strong for a 2nd successive victory in 2015. Here's Iannone with Bradley Smith right behind him going into Garage Vert.
Yeah, Smith lines him up. Smith, you would imagine, would probably take him as they come in. It's great to see Bradley Smith up there, but you can feel nothing but sorrow and admire the performance of Andre Iannone. He's obviously in considerable pain. Smith will want to get past as quick as he can. He's just will be aware that it's Marquez behind him, although he's got a fairly big advantage. There is Marquez. Doesn't seem that far away to me, Marquez.
Iannone, Bradley Smith are on board now with Iannone. This is through turn 12. You can just see Marc Marquez at the top of your screen there now in 6th place, just ahead of this battle for 4th. Lorenzo's crossed the line, still over 2 seconds clear of Valentino Rossi. And here's Iannone now through the final corner. Bradley Smith now, well, the gap will be less than a 10th probably. It is indeed, well, just over 2 tenths. Marquez trying his utmost to get in this fight for 4th place.
Yeah, this is important now for Smith to get past Andre Iannone. All the time he's behind him, Marquez will close the gap on him. He's got to make a decisive move. Iannone not making it easy for him. And as you can see, Marquez is right there now. So what looked like quite an easy equation for Bradley Smith has suddenly turned a little bit more difficult.
The race start on board with the pole man Marc Marquez. To his right hand side in a few seconds time you'll see Jorge Lorenzo and Andre Iannone come across the track. Well, there we go. And then we're going to see Marquez now put a pretty audacious and ambitious move up the inside of 3 riders into this Dunlop chicane. And there you can see he ran right off the track, rejoined in about 4th or 5th place. And right from that moment, it's been a real difficult French Grand Prix for the double world champion. He hasn't figured in podium contention right from the word go.
He's not going to give this up without a great fight. Marquez closing up on Bradley Smith as they come into the Shimano Professors. This is the battle for 4th place. Round 5 of the MotoGP World Championship. Iannone 4th, Bradley Smith 5th, and Marc Marquez, despite all his problems, still running in 6th place. And this Marquez that set in the very fast laps when he had clear track in front of him. He hasn't now. Bradley Smith has got to make a move on Iannone.
The arrival of Smith and Marquez has definitely given Andre Iannone a 2nd win. He doesn't want to surrender that 4th place without a real fight. Number 93 out there, 7 laps to go. Iannone leads over the line in 4th place. It's battle 4-4, 2 tenths of a second clear of Smith. Marquez now edging ever closer. Marquez, the quickest of that trio yet again. He's now right with Bradley Smith. This is going to be a fascinating battle for 4th place and 13 precious World Championship points.
They come down towards La Chapelle. Marquez closing on Smith all the time. Smith seemingly would go past Iannone very comfortably. But Iannone, don't call him Maniac Joe for nothing. A real big effort through the pain barrier for the Italian.
Moment for Marc Marquez going through turn 6 at La Chapelle. There you can see his left foot off the footrest. So whether he lost the front there right down into that 3rd or the lowest point off turn 6. Marquez, well, he hasn't looked confident at all right from the word go. Iannone giving him a great fight on the 1-2-4. Bradley Smith has yet not been able to show him a wheel, so 6.5 laps to go. It's still Lorenzo Rossi, Dovizioso 1-2-3 ahead of this battle for 4th place, still being led by Iannone. Bradley Smith now desperately trying to fight off Marc Marquez. Here's the race leader Lorenzo about to complete lap 22.
That gap progression, yeah, lap 18, 19, got the hammer down. It's classic Jorge Lorenzo. The Jorge Lorenzo would have had to run a race at the front. Nobody better. This battle still continues. Smith can't get past Iannone. Marquez is pulled up on the two of them, but doesn't seem to have the pace to actually get past them at the moment. And this could go all the way to the wire. There's just over 6 laps remaining as they're up at the Dunlop S's.
Oh, here's Bradley Smith, and Marquez goes up the inside of both, and that's going to push Bradley Smith wide. Iannone comes back through. Iannone now attacking to try and get 4th place back. He does. Well, Marquez dives up the inside of Iannone and Smith at the Dunlop chicane. He ran Smith wide, and as Marquez lost a bit of drive coming out of turn 4, Iannone swept gratefully past both of them back into 4th place. Great scrap for 4th.
We ride with Marc Marquez, as Iannone in front of him. He runs it a little bit wide at the Museum corner, and Marquez has come through. Marquez now up into 4th place. I think he may make it stick this time round. Bradley Smith still trying to close on the pair of them. Marquez has a bit of air between them now and has moved up to 4th place.
Bradley Smith was just about to make a move on the Iannone for 4th place going into the Dunlop chicane. He would have had no idea that Marc Marquez came from a long way back. Iannone now back into 4th. Marquez up the inside at turn 9. He'll have the inside line now coming out of the Chemin-Aubert chicane. Iannone having another look up the inside. Iannone fighting back against Marc Marquez. But we saw this numerous times in Moto2. We saw it a few times last year in MotoGP. Iannone, he's not giving up this 4th place without a tremendous fight.
Yeah, do you remember the race in Bruno, I think, as Marquez comes back into 4th place. Iannone runs in a big one. Iannone comes through. Smith can't find a gap. They come onto the start and finish straight. 4 laps to go. This is an amazing battle. So 5 laps to go. Lorenzo comfortable. Rossi second. But what a race this is for 4th place. Here comes Marquez on the brakes.
He's up the inside at the Dunlop chicane. He runs it a little bit hot. Iannone now might sweep back again and try and take advantage. Going through turn 5. Iannone does take 4th place back from Marc Marquez. This is like such one of the great old scraps. High drama here in this battle for 4th. And Bradley Smith, he's got a front row seat for what's been this mouth-watering challenge between Iannone and Marquez. Full respect to Andrea Iannone. This is the double MotoGP world champion. He's fighting tooth and nail for 4th place, and he's riding with a dislocated left shoulder.
Yeah, this is Moto2 racing. Of course, all 3 of them had some great battles in Moto2, didn't they? But especially Iannone and Marquez. And Iannone runs it a bit wide and carries through, and then he tries to take the inside as they come onto the back straight. I would think Iannone will just about hold from one of the Honda in the air as he accelerates away from Marquez. Oh, big moment from Marquez on the brakes, but he still dives inside Iannone.
How did Marc Marquez keep control of that Repsol Honda? He was all out of shape going onto the brakes into turn 9. He holds Iannone at bay into turn 11. Unbelievable stuff from the world champion. It looked like he was going to have to run off the track at the end of the back straight. He pulled that Repsol Honda up and made the pass stick on Andrea Iannone. We've seen a season's worth of overtaking from these 2 in the last 5 laps.
Brilliant stuff. It's safe. Not the race is a spectacle. It's great to see him ride the way he did, or the way he is riding. Now, who's going to be first up here? It looks like the Ducati's just got the pace of the two of them. You look at Marquez. He's an absolute demon here. Up the inside he comes off. Can he make it stick as they come through 3 and 4? He does. Bradley Smith's probably just sensible to sit there at the moment, I think, because you don't want to get involved in this and just watch, and perhaps something will happen. Down at La Chapelle, Iannone front wheel almost touching the back wheel of the Honda of Marc Marquez as they come up from the Museum corner. 3.5 laps to go.
Another look at the inside of Marquez at the Museum corner, turn 7. 2 of the hardest riders in this MotoGP field. They'll give absolutely nothing between them. Iannone still fighting hard to get down on the brakes at Garage there. Marquez in 4th place at the moment. There is the world champion just ahead of Iannone.
Well, guys, I'm just down here with Bradley Smith, team manager Hervé Poncherel. Hervé, great fight going on there. Should Bradley get involved or hang back and wait for something to happen?
I think at the moment, it's really, really hot in between Marquez and Iannone. We thought Iannone was struggling maybe with the shoulder because we know he had a dislocated shoulder, and I saw him in the clinic where he was in a lot of pain the whole week. But suddenly when he saw Marquez passing him, it kind of woke him up. We were really happy with our race so far. We thought it was going to be quite easy to pass Iannone, but as I said, suddenly he was hit by a stunt called Marquez, and we are there. I don't know what's going to happen. for sure, Brad, is very close, and who knows who's going to be fourth.
Thanks a lot, Herbo.
I don't think there's any doubt who's going to win the race. Jorge Lorenzo seemingly running on rails at the moment. Valentino Rossi in second place. Andrea Dovizioso third. But what's happening behind them? Rub your eyes and prepare for it. It is an amazing ride by, there's Hervé Poncharal 10. We just wait for Bradley Smith to go past. He was dropping, he was dropping seconds a lap at one point, wasn't he?
Was that the understatement of the year from Hervé Poncharal? The action between Marquez and Iannone is a little bit hot, I say. It's absolutely red hot. Marquez has managed to keep himself in fourth place. Iannone, though, not letting him have it all his own way. This is the battle for fourth place. It's been an absolutely nail-biting battle so far. Marquez holds the upper hand at the moment. They carry down the back straight. Has he finally broken Iannone's resolve? He's not giving up at all, though, the number 29.
Down towards the Shimoda Buff Essex, he just has enough gap there, doesn't he, for Iannone, who would try absolutely everything, certainly coming into the blue Essex now, but he's not close enough. Smith having to fight very, very hard just to keep them in view at the moment. It's a great ride by Marc Marquez. We really don't know what the problems have been. Even braver ride by Andre Iannone. He had a great ride by Bradley Smith. He'd probably be a bit disappointed that he wasn't going to finish in fourth place like he looked like he would at one point.
When we saw Marc Marquez early on the race, you do wonder if he did have some brake issues there, as Dylan alluded to, because he did have a couple of big moments in the first couple of laps. There is Bradley Smith in sixth place, 3/10 of a second behind Andrea Iannone. A little bit further down the field, Maverick Vinales has just moved ahead of Danilo Petrucci to move into ninth place. It's Paul Espargaro, but he was fighting for the podium here 12 months ago. He's had a difficult race so far this afternoon. The Spaniard, he's down in 7th place, 2 laps of the race to go. There's Paul Espargaro. Yoni Hernandez is back in 8th place. Vinales has moved into 9th by Danilo Petrucci. There's Hernandez down into La Chapelle. At the front, Lorenzo's advantage now 2.7 seconds over Valentino Rossi. Rossi further 6 seconds clear of Andrea Dovizioso, who knows his race is run. He's going to take a safe 16 points for third place. Here's Vinales just past Danilo Petrucci.
Mickey Hayden still running in 11th place, so still the best open class rider. And I suppose the big news from the race as far as the championship goes, Lorenzo has now moved into second place in the championship. On this sort of form, he is a mighty big championship contender. Across the line, 1 lap to go for Jorge Lorenzo. He didn't start the race in pole, he started from the front row of the grid. His practice climbs indicated we may get another Jerez repeat, and that is exactly what has happened.
Lorenzo now a very comfortable 3.2 seconds clear of Rossi. It's all about this fight though for fourth place. Andrea Iannone is still right there. He's glued to the back wheel of the Repsol Honda of Marc Marquez. It's Marquez now. Iannone has a look up the inside at the Dunlop chicane. He can't make the move. Marquez will lead the way as they go down through this fast section through turn 5, then down the hill to La Chapelle turn 6.
Wow, fabulous stuff. Is he close enough to have one really big go? Bradley Smith, I don't think he can quite run at this sort of pace and this sort of hotness, but he's probably wise to wait anyway, because anything could happen here if he could just get a little bit closer. And of course, Marc Marquez knows this. Less than half a lap to go for number 99, Jorge Lorenzo. Second successive Grand Prix victory of the season beckons.
On the last lap, Andrea Iannone set a quicker lap time than Valentino Rossi in second place. That's how much he wants to try and take fourth place off Marquez. It does look like number 93 has a significant advantage. Here though comes the master of Le Mans, Jorge Lorenzo, coming to the line to take another victory. Second in a row here in 2015.
Yeah, Jorge Lorenzo, it's his 56th Grand Prix victory. His 5th here at Le Mans. He's a serious championship contender. Rossi in second place, Dovizioso third. But what is going to happen after that?
Dovizioso, big wheelie over the line. It was Marquez through the first 3 sectors, and it's Marquez that holds off an absolutely brilliant internal performance from Andrea Iannone. Marquez looks over his shoulder to take fourth. It was one of the most intense, exciting battles we've seen in many a year between Marquez and Iannone. Here's Paul Espargaro. He's coming over the line to take 7th. There's Bradley Smith, 1 place ahead of his Tech3 teammate with a fantastic 6th place. Great job by Smith to take the top non-factory rider spots.
Wow. Boy, Lorenzo goes into Rossi land in 2 weeks' time. Mugello, the Grand Prix of Italy. I think John Todd enjoyed that. Nobody who's interested in motorsport would not have enjoyed that battle between Iannone and Marquez. That's as fierce as it gets, isn't it?
It was one of the great battles we've seen for many years, as we say. Here's Danny Pedrosa. He's coming home to collect valuable data, not only on his bike, but on his own physical condition. He crashed very early on in the race at turn 4, but he comes across the line now to finish in 16th place. And that would be, as we say, a real good acid test for Pedrosa's right arm as we move into the season. But there's the man, right arm in the air, punching the air in delight. Lorenzo, a 2nd successive victory in 2015. And boy, is he back in championship contention.
Certainly is. Valentino Rossi, though, obviously keeps the lead in the World Championship. Rossi 102, Lorenzo 87, so that's 15 points. So actually Rossi's lead has been cut by a single point. Vizioso 4 points further down now in 3rd place. Marquez 4, Iannone, Crutchlow and Smith. And Smith just 1 point now behind Cal Crutchlow. Paul Espargaro and Alessio Espargaro and Maverick Vinales completed the top 10 after 5 rounds of the MotoGP World Championship.
Big shout out to Nicky Hayden as well, 11th place, top open class rider, and that's the best open class result we've seen so far this season for the American. There's a 9th successive podium finish for Valentino Rossi. It will keep him on top of the World Championship standings, but the gap now down to 15 points between that man there, Rossi and Jorge Lorenzo. The race never really looked, he never felt it was in doubt once Lorenzo did get to the front very, very early on.
Yeah, it was aggressive at the start. Dovizioso pulled back a bit, didn't he, at him at one stage, but when he had to, he just disappeared, and Rossi had to work very hard to get past through the 2 Ducatis, was never going to catch him. Another 2nd place another podium finish for Andrea Dovizioso. Ducatis are close. Their big charge, we know when it's going to come. They've already tested there. 2 weeks' time at their home, Mugello in Italy. And you think it's crazy here at Le Mans. You wait till we arrive. Valentino Rossi leading the World Championship. Ducati chasing hard after him. Get in there now, I would think. Probably the only way you're going to get in. This has been a great weekend of racing at Le Mans. Great weather, crowd of over 93,000. And they've seen 3 really good races, different races, but lots of different reasons. Well done, Andrea Dovizioso, fresh from that very important test at the beginning of the week for Ducati. Jorge Lorenzo, his 5th win, his 4th MotoGP win, and he had a 250cc win here at Le Mans. It is his 35th MotoGP victory, his 56th Grand Prix victory. 28 years old, and he now moves.
Hari yang sangat manis buat Yamaha karena Lorenzo dan Rossi